Today is Tuesday, January 3rd, 2023. Time is 8:37 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
I went after a woman. I saw her looking at herself in the mirror. She's in competition with different groups. There's one faction that has a breakaway with new methods. Another faction is more traditional. She's aligned with some people in deciding which way to move, shifting alliance with cutthroat repercussions. She's doing things to safeguard her own assets and position. And there's a concern about an intersection of fiat dollars, precious metals, cryptos, and central bank digital currencies. What I was sensing, and I saw her looking in the mirror, was her sense of herself. Mm-hmm. This is how she's presenting herself.
Interesting.
So,
okay, this should be fun then. I don't know what to choose because I had such weird stuff, but I'm just going to go with this because I liked it. Okay, so I felt like I'm showing here just a load of people seated around a big table with loads of documents on it, and it felt, I don't know, very kind of corporate-y, kind of official, serious, very serious. So all these people were debating and arguing over the implications of something. And it almost felt like a council or committee or something. Had a legal, kind of financial, political feel to it.
All right. I had elements in mind that were not unlike both Dick and Daz. I had this web of people here. I did feel a sense of criminality stuff going on, but the idea here was that with this web of people, it made it difficult to find the actual bad guy who was in there. But I also had a female like Dick as well. That's either a female or it may be Glenn Fry from the Eagles, 1976. I'm not sure.
I see a person who's in an orange, kind of looks like a prison type thing, like they might be interrogated or something. And the sense I get is like they're paranoid and desperate, almost like maybe they snitch or talk. Interrogations, questions are asked. There's no easy way out of this, so probably some criminality involved here.
Tonight, we're looking at a crypto target where the woo may possibly run quite deep. The viewers were tasked to look at a person of interest who may in fact be a representative of, be responsible for, be in charge of the entire planet. More on that in just a moment. Dennis Nappy the second here, joined with Dick Allgaier, Daz Smith, Edward Reardon, and Naeem. Getting ready for our target reveal. Have a lot of curiosity from the viewers. Just going to get some 1-minute feedback before we go into what our target is. Dick, going with you first, sir. Your reflections here.
in charge of the whole planet, you said?
Possibly.
I'm completely, I'm adrift. I'm blind to the target. I have no idea. I'll be interested to, I can't even remember all my data. So we'll have to look at it and see.
Okay.
I'm clueless, speechless.
All right. Let's see what Daz has to say.
I have nothing to say. I haven't got a clue. God, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Thank you, Daz. Edward?
God's daughter? I have no idea, dude.
No idea.
No clue. No clue.
Okay.
But that, from what it sounds like we got some pretty interesting stuff in our sessions. But I have no idea who you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay. And Naeem.
Yeah, that final comment there, that just threw me for another loop. So I'm just gonna stay quiet until the reveal happens.
I might be making some liberties here, making some assumptions, but you decide as I go through our feedback, which I'm going to share right now, and then we'll get into your data and see, how it stands up. Everybody.
All right, get ready for the collective. Oh shit!
So here we go. Your target this week was a woman by the name of Kimberly Ann. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. Goguen or Goguen.
Has anybody heard of her?
I have never heard of this.
Nope.
Never heard of her.
her. Never
Okay.
seen her.
I feel a little relieved because I had no clue who it was either, and I was afraid you
She-
guys were gonna be like, "Oh yeah, we know
Well,
her."
She runs the world, and we don't know who she is. What's going on?
Well, there's a lengthy resume here that I'm gonna read to you guys in a minute,
All right.
and then we can decide. So let's look at our tasking here. The remote viewer is to move to the optimum position, time, and location to describe and sketch the target. Who is Kimberly Ann Goguen? I'm so sorry if I'm saying the name wrong. I know it. Viewer will describe the intention of the target. Viewer will describe the validity of the Universal Council and Global Peace and Restoration Consortium of member states. So somebody had a council. Dad has a council, so he's probably on that. All right. Who is she? Who is Kimberly Ann Goguen, aka Kim Possible? This was from justempowered.com. I want to make sure I'm giving credit to where I'm getting my sources here. All right. From that website, Kimberly Ann Goguen wears many hats. Her role is unknown by the majority of the people around the world. However, she's very well known by members of the deep state. One of the reasons for this is because she replaced their malevolent predecessor, Marduk, over a decade ago. Her predecessor was the Cabal's leader, not the people's leader by any stretch of the imagination, but in reality, he wasn't their leader either. They too were his slaves, but they didn't see it that way. In fact, many still don't see it that way. Kim is the first person to hold this seat who wants to end the human enslavement that has existed on our planet for over 16,000 years, not perpetuate it. This has gained her many enemies and few friends. But that surely is going to change as humanity finally starts to really wake up to the facts of how, when, and why, and by whom human enslavement was imposed on our planet. Kim wears many hats. The hats she wears and the roles she fills are listed below. I, meaning the writer of this article, updated the list given by Chris Rice on April 4th, 2022. I don't know if I'm going to get through all of these. It's so many, but here we go. Universal Protection Unit Command, Ground Command, Ambassador to Earth for the Universal Council for this version of humanity. Human Ambassador to the Earth Council established in 2021, which is for all Earth races, human and non-human. Controller of the Alpha Quantum System, of which her DNA is a necessary component. Note there was a dueling dark system on this planet called the Omega System, associated with Starlink and Elon Musk, which is now gone. Guardian, Controller of Global Intelligence Agency, has highest security clearance on planet Earth. Representative of Humanity for Disbursement of Planetary Assets, Trustee, Mana World Holding Trust. I'm going to skip the rest of that and go to number 8. From the original Rus bloodline or tribe, which is the root of all true Europeans and one of the 5 original human tribes. This tribe, also called the White Sun, they utilized the upper astral and had relationships there. Their opposite would be the Black Sun, who accused the lower astral. Who accessed the lower astral. Interim head of state, founder of Life Force, founder of United Network News. Quite the resume there, friends. Okay. This came from the website. Let me make sure I'm getting it right here. GVinstitute.org. A message from Ground Command. United Network News is the media hub for Kim Goguen, who claims to hold the highest level control of the global banking and telecommunications system while fulfilling a ground command role on behalf of the Universal Council. She says appointed her in 2012. Kim's material maps well onto high-level geopolitical news and insider reports, as well as esoteric updates from Lisa Renee and others. Purpose of the GVI Kim Goguen series is to provide news summaries and selected video transcript excerpts alongside needed background context. She said, I think very soon we will see how all this plays out. That's all for today's UNN special report. This is from 2020, I think, is when this came out. All right. Just wanted to pull an excerpt from one of her reports here because I think it gives us a flavor for where she stands. Kim reports that the highest level cabal, i.e. Illuminati council on the planet, the fabled Council of Three, at the core of the ancient Council of 13, which directs the relatively well-known Committee of 300, chaired by the Queen of England in recent decades, as of last week, is no more. Few on planet Earth realize the momentous good news this represents as a very clear sign that the past 13,000 plus years of planetary satanic rule has now ended. The last remaining human members of the world government in London had been pulling the strings. Let's see. Sorry, I lost my spot here. I like to call them the Triple Crown. You may call them the top of the Illuminati, the Khazarians, the banksters. Several weeks ago, the deals were cut with promises of big payouts around the 17th of January. We will fund the war with the Americans and NATO. They promised the banks the same. The Triple Crown cut the deals with the Americans, the Russian clans, and the Chinese and NATO. In turn, the Russians began aggressively taking over Afghanistan, made deals with the Kurds in Iraq, all on promises that never came true. Again, one by one, the Triple Crown became none, and the departed were nothing but a faint memory. One Sunday of last week, the last remaining member refused to go down without a fight. The Israeli gentleman decided to rally. He tried to issue bonds against offshore oil and found off the coast of Africa, as well as oil within the former USSR states. Bonds were to sell for $900 billion, and it goes on and on and on about that. Okay. Connected with the United News Network, a little bit about the United News Network. Is changing the media landscape. They're committed to the restoration of our planet by providing real solutions for real people. In order to enhance our world, we believe people need the whole story. We show you what's actually happening and why. We continuously expose evil and empower humanity to be the change they want to see in their communities. Our field messengers are people just like you who care and want to make a difference. Their reports provide a firsthand perspective of news that's personally impacting their area. We have field messengers located in countries all over the world. UNN also has access to the most accurate information on the planet, ranging from contributors who hold the highest clearance levels to leaders spreading every walk of life. We're not limited by traditional rules because we aren't part of the controlled opposition running the mainstream media. Watch carefully and brace yourself. This is not what you're used to when it comes to the news. This is the real news. All right. These are just some headlines. Project Camelot had a strong interest in her and did a couple of interviews here. Let's see. Universal Council, Trump and Who Runs the World. Universal Council and Ambassador, Red October, Trump and the Dark Magicians. And Brave New World, White Hats and Dark Side Players. That's from Project Camelot's website. Before It's News had a headline. Kimberly Ann Goguen, Universal Council, Trump, Black Sun ETs. There's a lot of repetition of stories across multiple websites. This is Before It's News. Who is she? Global Clearance Level 74, Ground Command Guardian, founder of the United Network News, Global Peace and Restorative Consortium of Member States, Administrator of the Hall of Records, Ambassador to the Universal Council. I couldn't find anything on the Global Peace and Restoration Consortium of Member States, even though that was part of the tasking. I was not able to access any of her conversations online. I'm sure that's where she talks about it, but I couldn't find anything in writing about it. Here's another one. This is her excerpt from her interview with Project Camelot. This is from the website, thetruedefender.com. Kimberly Ann Goguen and Universal Council, Who Exactly Controls the World? And again, a repeat of her resume right there. And here we go. This is just a snapshot. She had a special report out on 12/1/2022, but I'll be honest, I couldn't get through it, so I'll leave that where it is for you to review your data and draw your own conclusions. This is just what I pulled from the internet. I have never heard of this woman before we were tasked to look at it, for the record, so this is all new to me. So any questions or comments before we start looking at our data?
I have some. Literally, okay. A 5-minute internet search shows that she's just a big con artist that claims to have contacts with ETs. Why the hell are we doing a stupid target like this?
Well, then the data should have shown that.
Let's see what the data says, I guess. Full transparency here. I didn't all the things I read had a lot of red flags for me. It was very clickbaity. I felt it was very new age religion-y, that really gets people all worked up with all those trigger buzzwords. So that's why I had a really hard time with this. Not saying anything about the woman, but it's just not something that I'm interested in or gravitate towards in terms of where I get my information.
I've never heard of this person, but it's kind of, the more you're talking about it, it's kind of sounding like some kind of a psyop or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And so I'll be interested to go through the sessions We may, go having this kind of feedback, we may look at our sessions a little bit differently now,
Well,
based on what
you're
may
right.
be, what might be going on here. 'Cause it looks to me, it looks like a psyop, like a new age psyop. But I don't know. I've never heard of this person. So. For all I know, she's the queen of the ETs.
She might be. It reminds me years ago when a lot of the Q stuff started coming out.
Yeah, I was going to say that, but I didn't want to say that.
Sorry, I said it. And I'm not saying any judgment behind that, but it has that same kind of flavor.
That's the flavor it had for me too. Yeah,
yeah.
It's some has a psyopy feel, and but I've never heard of this person. So I'm interested to see what came through in the session, so we can try to get an idea of what's.
I got to look at Dick's data.
In my mind, it's more of what's going on than who.
Yes.
I don't care about the person. I'm more interested in is somebody getting placed to
put out information,
start mind screwing people. So
yes, that exactly, and that's what I'm hoping the data is going to show. And
we're just giving them airplay, though. We're just giving complete frauds airplay. I mean, literally, a 5-minute search shows that she's using multiple aliases. She thinks she's head of this. What is it? The Universal Protection Unit for the ETs. I mean, come on, guys.
Like I said, there were a lot of red flags for me. I don't know who the tasker is, so I want to handle this with respect to whoever sent this out, but there were a lot of red flags for me when I was going through this.
She's the head of the council of the Omicron moonbeam children.
Maybe we're going to eat our words one day. I don't know, but this just had so many red flags for me. I just didn't.
We could be calling her queen in 12 months.
That's a lot of titles. That's a lot of self-imposed titles. So
I'm going to give myself some titles.
We're gonna go to the head of the Hawaii sci-fi mystery team, Dick Allgaier.
I've never seen her till just a moment ago when you showed her picture. Although I saw her in remote viewing, I never heard of her, and I worked the target double blind, but I saw her. So
yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Look at those eyes. Are they reptilian eyes, Dick?
Well, let's go to the whole session.
Okay.
It's I spent a lot of time on this. I found her kind of interesting. So here we go.
She seems fascinating.
Yeah. Why am I? Oh, here we go. Okay. Ideogram. Visual ideogram. I want to know where she lives.
Your whole desktop is showing.
Oh, my desktop. Stop.
Okay. First.
Okay. Let's try this again. There we go. Somebody looking at like a window type of thing. Place with a bridge. I want to know where she lives. Ideograms, probes. Yeah, city type of space, wet, slushy, cold. There's a person inside a house, a lot of shelves, a lot of like albums or paperwork or stuff. A woman pointing at something. Woman walking to an SUV. My S3 is man and a woman in a place, urban. Okay. There's a woman who sits and holds things in her hands like objects. This is a hobby. But they represent real things to her. She's intent and focused. Sounds like card shuffling. I smell lavender. She studies these things. They have a meaning to her. She has a large book. She reads and studies, a volume with fine binding. She turns pages, religious ideas. It's a tome. She goes into philosophical teaching and holds ideas close. I see a lot of written text, but I saw this in reverse image. I couldn't tell if it was on a screen or really a written book, but complex instructions, directions, directives. Has a continuity, a history, a pedigree, like a trust. Place with tables and dividers, people seated mostly in wood. It's like a hearing or a courtroom. Wonder if she's ever been sued. There's a woman, she's quiet and reserved, introspective, wisdom and purpose, has had hardships, psychological hardships. She's quite determined. There's a guy with kind of curly hair, and he's being forced to present a serious, quiet facade, but he'd rather be playful, flippant, unpretentious, kind of cloak and dagger. He gives the appearance of substantial finances, but they may not be true. Large structure in the countryside. I don't know where she lives. Okay. They practice magic, incantations, spells, rituals, spooky stuff. These are people with secret lives or very personal, private lives. They work hard to keep hidden. They wear masks, like eyes wide shut. They wear a costume and a mask. They give me a creepy feeling. Stoicism, game face is a warm smile. Reserve, she works to endure pain without showing emotion, like British stiff upper lip. Very strong-willed person. Emulating this person feels cold, though. Like emotions are kept in check. This is to show professionalism in a man's world can display a warm, friendly, gay facade. So, like, not what she appears to be. I get a scene of horrible yelling and screaming and argument behind closed doors. Really nasty, nasty stuff. It is necessary to do this. She's in a situation where she has no choice. Some higher power and circumstances dictate steps that must be followed. Things have a momentum all their own. I see her older. It's a very complex lady, or maybe this is like mother or something. I don't know. Some principles didn't take in her upbringing and education. Ethics were taught, but not fully accepted. Didn't mesh with her being, didn't become part of her core. She does what is expedient and practical for the situation. She's trying to be a glass ceiling woman. What she promotes is designed by others. She's smart, but she's more concerned with her own wealth and advancement than others' well-being. Their well-being helps advance her aims. She's smooth and refined. She had good training. She has many connections, somehow connected to the Queen. She knows Janet Yellen, bankers, money people, runs in powerful circles, meets with movers and shakers. This person is well connected to a group of powerful people, some financial, and they plot and plan and scheme and put things in motion. Layers and layers of planning. There are goals and milestones that have to be met. She wears designer clothes. She's always thinking she needs to prove herself. She's trying to dispel the notion that it's a man's world. She feels a need to be smarter than anyone else. She's very concerned with her look. She wears stylish clothes and makeup. She's concerned with how to dress to show style, class, beauty, and power. She likes 80s music, Duran Duran, Dire Straits, and Whitney Houston. I see her looking in a mirror. She's preparing for a presentation, a meeting, or an interview. She's carefully rehearsing talking points. She's trying to exude confidence. She has a high opinion of herself. She mostly believes what she's doing, but her motives are not completely altruistic. She's smart enough to realize that more powerful forces can strike without warning and set anyone up for a fall. She has felt protected and on a golden path, but she still has some concerns that she keeps to herself. Secret golden parachute. In private, she closes her eyes and runs her hands up through her hair and like trying to shake out the cobwebs, alone in her thoughts. I hear her sighing, perplexed, concerned about the central bank digital currencies, high stakes, moving and timing. Someone advises her, but she's not completely sure she can trust him. Someone with a Lord like F name. Rose fast in a big money game. She was helped, chosen, an insider, part of a larger game. Now I might be getting into a little conscious mind because I'm so deep in the thing. There's competitions of different groups, like which way to move, shifting alliances, cutthroat repercussions. She grew up comfortable. I don't sense hardship or hunger. Affluent background. We have to look up her background. She moved about in different countries. Her passport has a lot of stamps and visas. She had a good education abroad. She was ill as a child, but fully recovered. She's interested in finance, worked probably as an intern and then rose fast. Chestnut hair. She had an education in how the world works. A mentor with bushy eyebrows and a cultured accent gives her special education and training. Things that are not spoken of, not in a sexual sense, history and finance. She does interviews in expensive, well-tailored clothes. She says well-rehearsed things really well. She's portrayed as a very intelligent expert with good camera presence, but she says what needs to be said. There have been very heated confrontations behind the scenes, not made public, big disagreement over the direction of several projects. This leads to a dissolution of at least one partnership. There's residual animosity. She has teams of lawyers and uses them to make herself bulletproof. She's been involved in some really complex financial maneuvers that are legal, but benefit the white shoe boys much more than retail customers. There's problems with the spreadsheets and accounting. She has residence with big windows and a good view. She spends a lot on clothes. She has 50 pair of shoes, designer clothes, not Hillary Clinton pantsuits, elegant business chic. She looks like a former model or actress, but I get a ruthless business feel. Looks and brains, she enjoys quality. She dresses well, like a princess, young-looking middle age, and there she is. She works to project a calm feminine strength. She tries to portray an aristocratic air in public, projects this calm, beautiful presence in public, but has to have a ruthless iron core. She is who she needs to be. Very careful and calculating, layers of defense built by association with financial business, attorneys, family ties, and special mentorship. I think she might be a dame. Interesting stuff. I got on it and just kept going.
Yeah. I mean, it was a great session.
6 hours of work.
Yeah, that was a great session, man.
I think it shows
I
that
had
go ahead, Dick.
I was kind of thinking, what's her name? Blythe Masters. She reminds me of Blythe Masters. She looks like Blythe Masters. When I saw, that chestnut hair, I think I would like to have somebody research her and see what percentage of that data I presented was good.
Well, I mean, looking to the tasking, I think you tapped into a woman who, at a minimum, is a public face in the alternative media section, who is probably a part of certain high-level meetings and business dealings and power.
Yeah, I saw her doing those interviews.
Yeah, I mean, she does a lot of those. So, I mean, she definitely has a presence. Is she into
cryptos?
I think there was some mention of cryptos, but I don't have a whole bunch on that.
I got a sense that she's not fully into cryptos, but kind of like one quiver in her, one arrow in her quiver.
Yeah,
like she's into other
things.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to do some more research.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Curious. Okay. Well, Dick, thanks for that session. I think it was a great session. Let's see what Daz brings back for us.
Hey, bear with me a sec. Okay, so first ideogram here started off, and it was all about emotion, which gave me the AOL of crying straight away. So it was all about energy, which was emotional energy. Very human feel to it. Someone that felt like we were under emotional duress. And there was a lot of social activity about this person as well. And I just had some weird sensations there. The word, colors pink and white and stuff like that. Again, a life form here with emotional energy. I was picking up a male with this, but I didn't really pick up much life form energy at all, really. But yeah, again, it was this person was upset, but also relieved at the same time, and they were worrying about an impactful personal situation, and all this had a financial feel to it, and maybe even a legal feel to it. And then I felt like there was going to be a future component to this as well. So like something to do with a situation and knowledge in the future. And this is where I got the my preview data here. I saw a really strong visual of a group of people sat around a table, all like shuffling documents. It looked very kind of serious and corporate and legal. And I wrote here, corporate feel, lots of papers and documents. It felt like the meeting was recorded as well. And it had serious implications. It felt like a council type meeting.
I mean, it's interesting that the tasking talks about a council, so you may be picking up on something, Des.
I tried to work out what they were doing. There was a heated debate or an exchange. It was all power based and influenced decisions, but all stuff to do with a future impact. There was a head leader to do this, but again, it felt very financial, legal, political, even. And I wrote a note here, this feels very serious group of people, mainly male, making a very important decision with global reach. All feels recorded by both audio and video, and they even had a stenographer, I wrote there, which was interesting. An air of complications and implications, which was very serious. Again, more emotional stuff here. There's lots of emotions with this target, but also debates and differences. It felt like a major decision was being made, which has a global impact for decades or more. Had a government or similar feel to this as well. And it felt like there was very high-powered, influential, kind of closed, secret committee type thing going on, a council or a security council type thing. Again, life here in a situation with huge impact. The situation itself felt very complex, multi-leveled, felt both financial, political, and military, and maybe even more. It feels like this might be in a reaction to an event or a surprise event in the future. Because I had the word explosive here, I did look at the word explosive as well, but I don't think it was. Of course, I put that bomb here, but I don't think it was explosive in that way. I think it was more like socially explosive, something with a lot of impact here, with lots of levels and plans and stuff like that. So it felt like the target had a duality. It had an explosive nature, something a military type action planned in the future. Which is going to have lots of consequences, and the reach of this on so many layers and levels. So it feels like an event which all these kind of like tidal waves of things, impacts, future impacts it was going to have. Definitely had a strong USA feel to it. And right here, this feels like something big on the scale of 911 and all that followed it. So it feels like something's being planned right now, and they're moving chess pieces into place, almost like 10 moves ahead. And situations are being aligned for this. It feels very governmental and above with reach. So it felt like all the people that were involved were political, financial, military, and intel. And this had a heavy social media base to this as well. It feels very covert and secret with a need to know kind of thing to it. And only a small few actually know. It's all in planning and production, and it's being staged. I got here, planned or organized kind of group here. A big, super big future event in 2023. Something gets dragged out. A series of smaller events, then a boom event. And then I had, a feeling of, later in 2023 for this. And people are involved. They're demoralized. They're upset. They're emotional, scared, worried. They feel fractured. Looking for leadership, they're down, they're depressed, despondent. They had a grey feeling to them as well. And then just a final note, I wasn't sure if I was actually on target. I got the feeling that I'd been attracted maybe to something else, gone off a little bit there. Yeah, but something in production planning, early stages of what they're doing.
I want to, I mean, very interesting data, Des, and it's easy to go down like the conspiracy rabbit hole, given the background of this or not. But maybe there is something big tied into this person, and this is kind of,
Maybe
this tune sounds familiar.
I mean, I've just done a quick search on her, and the stuff that's coming up straight off the bat is just people alleging that she's some kind of CIA agent plant type thing. So who knows?
Yeah, you just can't tell.
Needs a lot more work.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Des. Edward?
Very, very interesting. I've gone from being pissed, like, oh, what a dumb target, to this is really a pretty interesting target, because to me it looks like a psyop situation. But let's see what might be interesting in here. But the first thing I experienced with this target was this very smooth kind of plastic-y fiberglass dome object. And it felt like it was turnable. And I felt like it was in like I was in a manufacturing facility where they were making objects or things like that. Structure that could be manufactured in a facility, that kind of thing. A production facility, mass production facility, where they made stuff. So what was important about the place was this idea of mass production, and it felt related at least to pharmaceuticals, medical or general, or electronics to me. It was a high capacity facility. I don't know, maybe I was in Zurich or something like that. And these people that were in this place were lab type setup, biological or pharma, or just a very sterile environment. It was expensive, and there's big money going on here. This particular location is a production facility, people in lab coats and garb, the kind you would see in a sensitive production area, and it was super calm. So it had a very strange feeling to me. Feeling here was pharma, medical, drugs, and vax, and or mass production of other products, big money into government funds and funding. Moving into a distribution aspect, combination of medical elements and financial elements for distribution, paying for something, like the use of central bank digital currency. Everything in this scenario, this was interesting right here. Everything in this scenario feels synthetic. Nothing is real. Even the people involved feel fake. But why are the people fake, though, I wondered? The materialness of them, and they are surrounded. And I want to know who. That was the interesting thing, that these were like, everything about this was like the Matrix or something like that. Everything was phony.
Yeah.
So there was this web of people, these insulated people inside of a web, this web of people. And there was a sense of criminality to them. And I wondered if they were selling something, like what is with these people? And it was like, I said, here's a web of criminality. And because of the web that they have set up there, it was difficult to find who the bad person was. Like, it was just kind of strange that way. And behind an organizational structure or enterprise, and this gives them more protection or legitimacy, meaning that they were part of an organization of some kind. So they were all had some level of protection, even within their web of people that they had. They link to extended groups or circles, and this was like their circle here, and they're connected with all these other things there. But what for, though, I wondered? These are organizations, lobbies, pushers, groups that can proposition governments for influence in areas like digital currency and medical drugs. The main person, though, felt higher profile on the news or media shows, a vocal person whose face is seen often. And I had this AOL here of that Sam Bankman fraud guy. Because it felt like a big fraud to me. It was all fake, big fake thing. It's like a web of people with a spider at the center, people caught up in the web along the way. Like they have this web of influence and people kind of get caught up in that. And there's money movement, even possible laundering, and they had big problems. There was a female here, and there was a fellow here. He's smart and sharp, and she felt like she was connected. They were wrapped in a blanket of money or influence, but a product is made and distributed. And when I look at that, I think the product that they're making is their content, I'd say, and they're selling it to people. A product is made and distributed, the individual separate from the activity. The individual separate from the activity, prominent and promising, they're facing something. But what were they facing? I wondered. They were up against something, like they were in a fight and pushing forward to overcome something. But overcome what? I wondered. A decision, a turn of events, turn something in. This person is or will turn something in and bring something forward or come clean. This person is or will, this person is or was called upon to set a record straight. But how did or does it turn out for them? I wondered. There was a level of a relief or release from it, an ease of some kind, meaning that when this person tells the truth, they'll feel relieved. Maybe when this lady says, okay, it's all a big psyop, maybe she will be relieved.
Feel better.
An ease of some kind. They're calling on someone older, a backup person, or an elder. But how does that play out, though, I wonder? An elder type comes into the situation and provides a solution or credibility factor. Well, that's interesting. We'll see if maybe they, in their ET verse there, they'll bring in some celebrity person of some kind. This kind of calling out the big dog or old dog, a type of person to take this person under his wing. Protection comes in, someone's day is saved. But who's the older person, though, I wonder? A family member or a connected family friend, a member of a connected family or associate? But connected how, though, I wondered? Corporate or financial person? Someone who is on boards, carries some weight, government ties, either in government or interacts directly. The type that can call in favors and they take care of their own. It doesn't work out, though, I wondered. There's a price and this person will pay. I was really AOLing on this Ellison chick. Like she will, this was interesting here. Like she will become an employee for an organization. She will have little or no choice. Something or someone connected to banking will use her or other financial. There is also the big pharma connection. She may be pulled into a position there as well, but she is cuffed and locked in. And again, I had to end because I kept AOLing out on this Ellison chick.
Yeah.
But I can see where when I look at this girl and I look at this woman, what I see are two frauds. And that's probably why I was AOLing out on her so bad.
Right.
Because this girl is a fraud. She took a lot of people's money. This other gal sounds like a fraud, and they're probably taking people's money too. And if their little organization there is starting to lose some credibility, I'm wondering if maybe if she will bring in someone else into their fold that has some kind of credibility. I did see in one thing. I think it was that post that you had for the
Yep.
where she was hanging out with these people like this Benjamin Fulford. He's another, wackadoodle type. But maybe she'll bring in someone like that into their organization to try to give it some kind of credibility, or that other dude. I can't remember their names, but they're like that kind of space alien conspiracy groups and that kind of thing. The Gaia channel people, David
Wilcock and Corey Good.
Yeah, both called out for being complete frauds, scam.
It has that flavor of the stories that they tell, and the way that's what was raising the red flags for me. Is it's very fantastic and inflammatory and exciting, and it creates this hierarchy and this opposition, and it's got all the elements of a great work of fiction. But interesting stuff, interesting sessions. Dick's session was fantastic. I was captivated. Rarely am I captivated by remote viewing sessions, but that one really captivated me. Yeah, it was good.
My take from my session was that everything felt fake. The people felt fake. Everything felt totally phony to me. And, but hey, who knows? Like I say, maybe in 12 months, we'll be calling her queen.
But fake or not, I mean, that means that they're not telling the truth. But that doesn't mean they don't have, obviously, a level of influence and there isn't an agenda there.
Well, she obviously has influence if people know about her and we're spending our time remote viewing this person.
Right.
We could be remote viewing other things.
Right.
But we're remote viewing this person. So.
Okay. Curious data points. Thank you, Edward. Let's take a look at Naeem's data, who might have an interesting conclusion depending on what that orange jumpsuit entails here.
Yeah, I have no interest in this, and I have no horse in this race. So, I'm just going to present what I got here.
Okay.
So I had a land gestalt that to me seemed like a prison, institutional, restricted, top secret or similar. Containment, somewhere where you'd hold people. And I say a prison, I don't know if it's a prison, but it has a gate. It's a place with a gate that would surround the whole area. Maybe even a watchtower, guards there, cordoned off, sealed. Feels institutional. I see a person kind of curled up, knees to chest, being held, like isolated confinement. Menace or danger to society. They're counting the days. They've been captured in some way. I see them in an interrogation situation. They're paranoid. They're desperate. They're dumbfounded. I hear someone say, speak up. So the sense I get is like they're maybe snitch or talk. They feel like they're held in contempt. Interrogations. Yeah. No easy way out is the word I get there. And this looks like I see this man who has gray hairs coming in. Feels like they're in there for a long time, maybe even like a prisoner of war type situation. Unfair treatment, being held. I see a life in a lab coat type situation here, and I get like almost like a mad scientist Frankenstein type experiments going on, genetics, mutations, abnormalities. A life known, driven, high IQ. They feel like they're chosen. They're on a mission to like eradicate or replace. A sense of science and genetics involved, like almost like eugenics. I get a sense of almost like eugenics here. And then I get this like psychosis, brain stuff, almost, Frankenstein type experiments involved. Some higher ups that feel governmental. And it feels like this is planned and played out. There's a council of oversight above this individual, and this person follows it. Yeah, this person follows it like to a T. And I don't know, I get the sense that maybe they have dementia or psychosis or some kind of mental illness with the person at the target. This was one of my more clear impressions. I see an office room, leather sofa, recliner, bookshelves. This person's well read, sophisticated. They know about philosophy and world matters. Mahogany desk. I even
It's like
smelled
Dick's data.
yeah, I even smelled like cigarette smoke. Like maybe someone smokes in here. But it's like a step into my office kind of person. And I even get like, I don't know if it's the president, but presidential feel. Almost like government probably involved here. They would have secretaries and even handlers, maybe even the Secret Service.
Would you say like a feel of like the human ambassador to the Earth Council type of feel?
Not quite the words I would use, but
okay,
perhaps. I see. This is the one impression that maybe lines up with some of the feedback here. I see I'm a woman and a man, and I get like top level clearance, handlers. Having to do something with international crimes. The defense budget is involved. There's casualties. They sign documents and authorize things. And these are like, this way, Mr. President type of folks, you know.
What's interesting about that, these data points you're getting, I mean, in one of her titles, it was like level 74, highest Earth level.
Yeah. That's why I'm
clearance.
saying that maybe that matches up. Top level clearance that, take it for
G14 classified.
And this was the clearest person I saw. I mean, I keep seeing this guy with gray hair here. I saw pretty clear, but this is like I don't know if this is a bodyguard or something, but it feels like a mercenary type person. Deadly, you know, not to be effed with, almost like a mafioso type person. He's cold, he's sinister, lavish. He's a rebel, he's ruthless. Yeah, that's what I'm getting on this one. So I don't know if there's anyone involved with this that was held in prison or that they're trying to put in prison, but yeah, that's my data on this.
Probably.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I did just find this here. Let me just look at this real quick. Apparently, one of her, maybe the space aliens told her that the Federal Reserve was going to collapse today. I don't think it did. I don't think it did.
So the day's not over yet. It's not over.
Well, that's true. Well, down by Monday. So today's Tuesday. It should have been dead yesterday. Point is, they may want to be asking for a refund from her subscription.
Could be on the other timeline. You got to remember that.
Right. Yeah, we don't know what planet they're talking about.
I say this. I say this without just in reading through the literature. There was talk in one of her lectures about the multiverse and addressing all layers of the multiverse. So maybe it was another.
It can't be proved wrong there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know who. I thought Murdoch was a cartoon character.
I thought Murdoch was on the A-Team. Right.
You're right. You're right.
Marduk, though. Marduk is
that's it. Marduk. He's
Marduk
a
is
character, right?
from Sumerian. Anunnaki.
Oh, and he was a cartoon character.
He was.
He was a cartoon character on their hieroglyphs.
There you go. Let's get some final thoughts here before this derails any further. Dick, I'm going to go back to you, sir. Your final takeaway from this.
Complex person. Very complex person. You know, people are groomed and prepped to deliver a narrative that it doesn't have to be true, but there may be a purpose to get people to believe this. So I don't know. I was left just thinking very complex person. I don't know if she believes it or not.
Yeah.
I want to go through my session again with the feedback and absorb it all. It's just kind of like, wow, okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'll send that to you, Dick. Okay. Daz, final takeaway, final thoughts?
Where to start? I don't know really. I think the data kind of indicates someone that's maybe mentally ill or delusional, or someone that's a psyop, or maybe a bit of both. That's pretty much all I can say on it, really, I think.
Okay. You got to speak to the data, Daz. Thanks. Edward, any more thoughts on this one?
Well, if I look through the session now that we get the feedback, I'd say the base elements were that there were a group of people. They were manufacturing a product. They were providing a product that they were selling, and everything about it seemed fake to me. They are an organization. They bury themselves behind an organizational structure to protect themselves. And they may not be doing that well. They may need to call in some other big dogs or an old dog to help them to maintain their level of that they're at.
Right.
Looking at the feedback, I'd say if they want to maintain their subscriber base, they're probably going to pull in full, the secret space program guy or something like that. Somebody that has a big base behind them to keep their subscription base high. But the whole thing felt fake to me, and I kept AOLing that Ellison girl, which is another scammer.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole thing is fascinating to me because it feels like a psyop to me. They're disinfo people. They're selling a product of disinformation, in my opinion. But again, I don't know that much about it. I'm just giving you my base impressions on it. They're selling a disinfo product. They're selling that stuff. So, yeah.
Okay.
And,
all right.
Keep an eye out for who they'll be pulling in next. Keep them subscriptions up.
Thanks for that insight, Edward. And Naeem, final thoughts.
Yeah, these are the kind of things that are just, I don't even follow these kind of things, even if they were true. I just, I kind of just live my life, and what happens happens. But looking at the data, possibly some kind of big organization, some governmental type things may be involved. I did also have the psychosis, mental illness kind of thing there as well. Mm-hmm. Someone being told what to say and following it to a T. Not exactly something I'd make a conclusion on, but yeah, the double blind data is there.
Yeah, the data speaks for itself. Okay. Well, I'd say excellent sessions by everybody. The jury is out to all of you. If those of you have more information on who this person is that you can tie into the data and shed some light on it for us, please keep the conversation going in the chat. I'd love to hear more. I know it would be valuable to the viewers as well. But great job by everybody. That's going to wrap it up for this session. So on behalf of Dick, Daz, Edward, Naeem, and the rest of the crypto viewing team, I'm Dennis Snappy II. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys.